Hello and welcome to this episode of Al's Garage. This Jeep is done, and today we get to deliver it. Let's do it. Dick, thanks for taking some time to answer some questions. I just figured it'd be nice to talk to you and talk to you about the Jeep here.
Okay.
So, when did you originally get your Jeep that's sitting behind us?
Well, it was 1957,
Mm-hmm.
probably in the fall, but I don't remember precisely. My brother found it at Acres of Fun Drive-In, and he didn't have $500, so I bought the Jeep.
Oh, got it.
And it was white, had two spotlights, one on each side on the little pad there, mounted with plumbing pipe, galvanized metal.
Oh, wow.
And they used the Jeep to drive around in the movie theater and try to catch people coming out of the trunk of a car who didn't want to pay for to get in. So that's why the spotlights, I guess, and it had no top at that time. It was painted white. It did have bows for a top, but no top was available.
Mm-hmm.
And it served me very well, I guess, for ever how many years it is, back to 1957.
That's awesome. And the top, you said you got the top at a later point, this hard top?
Yeah, I came on the top some years later, and I don't remember exactly what that was, but it was probably, let's see. Oh, gee, I can't remember exactly when.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I thought, well, I'll try that, and put it on, and I liked it. I was inside, out of the rain, out of the weather, and worked fine for me for many, 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 many years.
That's great. So one of the things that we talked about was the engine. You said that the engine on this was out of a 1963. Is that right?
Yes, it was called a DJ3, I think. It was painted pink. I think it was a two-wheel drive Jeep,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought it at Phoenix Four-Wheeler Supply.
That's the one on
Out
Washington,
on
right?
East Washington,
Yeah.
and I think I gave $100 for it.
Yeah.
So it's a little more modern engine than the one that was in it. The one that was in it had a crack in the block,
Mm.
and I didn't want to try to repair it, and the top was cheap enough, and I just jumped right in and got it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense, and it's actually amazing how many little differences there are between the DJ engine and the 1943
Yeah,
Willys, earlier engine. Like the distributor's different, the carburetor's different. It doesn't have a crank on the front of the crankshaft. So some interesting stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Now it had a radio and a CB antenna. We took those off, of course, but you say you used to do some stuff with CB radio communicators?
Well, for many years, there, I used it as a search and rescue vehicle because the White Tanks Sheriff's Posse was a sort of a volunteer unit, and we would get a call from a deputy or downtown Phoenix and say we need so many people to go out and look for somebody. And so I donned the sheriff's uniform. When I met the guy, ever who it was that was calling us to order, he would deputize us, and that made us as official as he.
Mm-hmm.
So we used Citizens Band radio for many years. That's why the tall antenna was on the back.
Yeah.
And we roamed all over the west side because it was before, well before, cell phones.
Yeah.
And people could get out there and not be able to get back, and no way to call out, so we have to go find them.
That makes sense. So you drove this. You knew the White Tanks pretty well, driving around.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I've been up to the top to where the relays are up at the top, and then back down and out the north end of the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And I know this had a tow bar. Did you take it anywhere else in Arizona to go, off-roading and
Well, I don't
stuff?
know if I can recall the name of the place. I think it's Hell's Gate.
Okay.
That's off in the Tonto Creek area
Yeah.
from Payson.
Sounds familiar.
And while there, I somehow managed to blow the head gasket, and I was only running on about 2 cylinders, and of course I had the tow bar on it.
Yeah.
And one of the people that was with us, the Buckeye four-wheelers, I dropped my hitch on his insert, and he towed me right out of there.
And you were part of the Buckeye Four Wheelers group for a while.
Well, we formed that out there. I didn't join. I was more like one of the originators.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And whenabouts was that?
where?
When?
When? Oh my goodness. Let me think a moment. I'm trying to think. My kids. Probably in late '60s, early '70s.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. My and then I was with that so long that both my children learned to drive with this.
Really?
So-
Very cool.
It must have been a lot of years there.
Yeah.
My son took it up to Lake Pleasant,
Mm.
and where the creek runs in, or the river runs into the lake, it was all mushy.
Mm-hmm.
So he got the thing stuck. He couldn't get it out. So about 2 in the morning, I got a call from a guy that says, your son and his friend are at the upper end of Lake Pleasant, and they're stuck with the Jeep and can't get out.
That's
So
funny.
I loaded up my old 75 Chevy Suburban Lake and went up there with a bunch of blocks and jacks and rope and tow this. Finally got the thing out of there.
That's great. And you said your son actually had this up at NAU in Flagstaff
Yes.
when he was going to school?
He had it at NAU, and he must have stolen some guy's girlfriend or something because somebody on this wheel took 4 of the 5 lug nuts off.
Yeah.
And he was running down the highway, and when that one gave out, and yeah, he bent up the back end a little bit, but you repaired that.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. No, that's great. And let's see. I guess in more recent years, you weren't driving it as much, right?
No, it went elk hunting up on the reservation that's south of Globe, back into a place called Point of Pines, where uh, my friend and buddy for 70 plus years uh, was out hunting all night.
Wow.
And we thought we were going to have to get the ranger and get a search party out, but he had matches, so he built a fire and stayed warm and came hiking in the next morning.
That's great.
But he shot a beautiful big old buck, and when we were did the field dress, and we each took a hind quarter and put it on our shoulder, and we were marching out back to camp, and we got tired, so we sat on this log, and we were there a few minutes, and we heard the noise, and down from the canyon kinda came this huge buck, and his tongue was hanging out this far.
Oh.
He had been running all over that mountain, I guess, and he came within 20 feet of us and stopped and looked at us and looked at us, and one of us must have blinked an eye or moved a finger. He took off, he laid that rack bout and his nose out, and he went on his way.
Wow.
That was quite a sight to see, really. And he was parting the young pines that were this big around with those antlers. They were just
Going through it. Yeah.
We couldn't afford to shoot another. We only had one elk tag.
Yeah. Any other fun experiences or stories in your Jeep as you?
Oh, let me think. Doesn't involve the Jeep, but we got a call from the Sheriff's Department, and they did a raid on the salons, and they left me in charge of the place in Cashin, Arizona, and all the rest of them took off and went on toward 51st Avenue in the river bottom area. So I was inside and I was waiting, and up pulls a big 18-wheeler, and the guy gets out, comes up to the front door, and I meet him there, and he says, "Whoops, I think I'm in the wrong place." And he turned around and left.
That's great. Yep. So, are you looking forward to driving your Jeep again now that we got it all fixed up?
Oh, I got plans. There are a lot of back roads that I plan to explore, and a lot of the people at the senior diner downtown have said they would like to take a ride in the old dude here.
Yeah,
And
that's great.
claimed, I think it's, what is it, about 79 years old? Can you figure it out?
Well, let's
if it's
see.
a 1943.
43. That would be
57.
That would be 79. Yeah.
57, 67, 77, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been around a while.
It has.
It's been a lot of places that people don't usually go, like Courthouse Rock out in the Harquahala Valley, and through the mountains up there. Rescued some people off of the north end of the White Tanks Mountains one time. A guy and his girlfriend were in a Jeep, and they got into some of this gravel that's kind of slippery, and the Jeep was sliding down and almost ready, and she was trying to hold the Jeep back, which was kind of stupid because if it came down, it would crush her.
Yeah.
But we took my brother-in-law and I went up with our Jeep, and he had a Jeep also, and we hooked on to the Jeep that they were driving and got them back out on the road and saved them a real problem maybe.
Yeah, that's very cool. Well, Dick, thanks for taking a few minutes and sitting with me to talk about your Jeep and some of the cool stories that you've had with it over the years. I look forward to, connecting with you here in the future and hearing about some of your places you're going to go with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there are probably other stories that I just can't come up with them all right now.
Yeah. I know it. I know how it goes. So, all right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. And thank you for doing a beautiful job on, I used to call it white lightning.
White lightning, yeah.
Yeah, but that's in the past.
Yep. Green lightning. Green lightning. Yep. We're headed back. Lots of fun. Good to be done with the project, and it was nice of Dick to share some of his thoughts here. Stay tuned. Next video is going to be the time lapse. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.